There are 10 things that you cannot do in Brazil. What I'm about to tell you could help you out if you plan on visiting Brazil, and could help you avoid trouble or avoid being disrespectful. So let me tell you, these are the top 5 things that are looked down upon in Brazil. Number 1, disrespecting any national symbols. Now, just like with every other country, it's considered disrespectful to mock or show any signs of disregard to their national symbols, such as their flag and anthem. But it is also prohibited to disrespect their emblem, named the coat of arms. Not only is it prohibited, but it's also illegal, so you could face legal trouble if you decide to wake up one day and cause chaos. So make sure you get some good sleep before you decide to wake up and do that. Number 2, littering. Littering is widely frowned upon in Brazil due to the country's emphasis on cleanliness and the preservation of their environment. Brazil is home to many beaches, parks, and forests, which could be ruined if they weren't strict about their littering policy. Of course, if you do decide to ignore all the warnings and you decide to litter, you could face some trouble. Now it isn't so bad, as you may just get subjected to a fine or put into community service. But just because the punishment isn't so bad, it doesn't mean that you should do it. You don't want it to end up like the United States, which has the highest littering rate in the world. But that's for another video. Number 3, noise pollution. You know, there's always that one person at 3 a.m. blasting their music and shaking the entire block. But in Brazil, they are very strict on their rules about loud noises. Brazil has specific regulations that control noise pollution. These regulations set maximum noise levels for residential, commercial, and industrial areas, particularly during nighttime hours when the impact on sleep can be most detrimental. If you violate these noise limits, you could be subject to a fine and other legal actions. So think twice before you start to blast your music in the night if you do visit Brazil. Number 4, failure to vote. Now, unlike the US, voting in Brazil is a lot more serious. It is required for anyone at the age of 18 and above to vote when it comes to a president. Now, of course, if you couldn't vote because there was an emergency at the time, then there are a couple ways you can justify it. But other than that, not voting can lead to problems such as not being able to renew your ID or passport, or even enrolling in universities. It's one of those interesting facts you wouldn't know, as in the US, you're not obligated to vote if you don't want to. God bless America. And now, finally, number 5, the ban on violent video games. Brazil has actually been very strict on what games they allow their people to play, which sparked some arguments about censorship and freedom of expression. An example of a game they temporarily banned back in 2008 was the game Counter-Strike, which was a popular game back then and still is now. Though the ban was eventually lifted, it just goes to show how serious Brazil is about safeguarding social and ethical standards. Now that's a very strange topic, but what are you guys' thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments. Other than that, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.